friends, let's make our green tea nice cream. We can't call it ice cream because there's no cream in it. But this is really fun, versatile recipe. Makes a great protein snack, even though it's kind of an ice cream texture. It's still perfect for that. This is also a really good way to use up those bananas that are getting a little bit too ripe. If you've never frozen a banana, it's kind of life-changing because a frozen banana takes on the texture of ice cream, especially when you put it in the food processor or in the blender. And then when you add whatever other ingredients to it, it's just a super simple thing. When you get a craving, you can do something and it's really pretty much guilt-free. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to freeze the banana. This is the only part you have to think about ahead of time because it's going to take about probably 3 or 4 hours for the bananas to get frozen solid. So that's the only thing. But once you do this, you can freeze, you know, a couple bananas at a time. You can keep them in the freezer for probably a week, no problem. So just slice them up. I'm just slicing it into like 1/2-inch pieces. And you're just going to slice them like that into a covered container. And then just go ahead and stash them in the freezer. So I'm going to put this one away. And I'm going to grab out the one that I froze earlier. And as I said, they do freeze pretty solid. Not as solid as an ice cube, but definitely, you know, pretty firm. I'm going to put these in the food processor. As I said, you can do this in the blender. I'm using the food processor because I think it's just a little bit easier for you to see this. And as I said, super versatile because there's a lot of other things that you could add to this. The 3 basic things that you need are the frozen banana. You need 1 scoop of protein drink mix. I'm using vanilla, but again, if you have other flavors in your market, you could do that too. So I'm going to put in 1 scoop of that. And you do need some liquid. So I am using some soy milk. You can use rice milk, you can use regular milk, you can use coconut milk, you can use whatever you want. I'm not going to put that much in to start. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon because you don't want this to get soupy because you're going to eat it right away. So you only want enough to just allow it to kind of mix together. So those are the 3 things that you need for sure. And then because we're doing this green tea, I'm going to put in about a rounded 1/2 teaspoon of our wonderful green tea concentrate. And then just to give it a little more green color and a tiny bit more nutrition, just a small amount, I'm putting in 1/4 cup of baby spinach leaves. That's it. That's really all that goes in there. So already I'm sure those of you who like to cook are thinking, oh, there's a lot of other things I could do with that in terms of flavorings. And you could put in extracts. You could put in spices. You could certainly replace the tea with, you know, some other product. I've been thinking like maybe a little beverage mix or maybe a little collagen beauty booster might be good. All right, and that's it. And then we're going to just blend this up. We're going to watch it really closely. It's going to take a little minute to work because all of the stuff is kind of frozen. But let's see what happens if I can get this thing to go. And then, as I said, I think what you'll want to do is you're going to watch to see what the texture does over time. Why can't I get this to go? Come on. Oh, I know why. Because I have this on backwards. Let's do it the right way. Here we go. And as I said, you can put in whatever you want to. You could put some other fruit in here, but you might want to be a little bit careful about doing that because that might make it a little bit too soupy. Okay, now we are good to go. Here we go. Okay, so what you're starting to see, it's not totally smooth yet, but it is starting to kind of come together. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scraper. I want to make sure that I get all of the protein powder incorporated, and I'm going to add just a tiny bit more liquid, not a lot, because you can see that the texture is pretty great. It's actually pretty ice creamy. So I'm going to put in maybe another teaspoon or so, just a little bit. I'm just drizzling a tiny bit, and that should help it to smooth out. Let's see what happens. Get it on the right way this time. All right, here we go. Okay, thumbs up, you guys. This was pretty simple. I also want to make sure, I think there might be one, nope, I thought there was one banana chunk in there, but no, it is beautiful, it is smooth, and it's ready to eat. So this is the one thing that you have to know about this, is that when you make it, you know, it's pretty much time to eat it. There's a little bit of protein powder there in the bottom, and I'm just going to scrape that and blend that in. But the texture is amazing. This is like a really good soft serve ice cream. If you wanted this to be a little bit firmer, you could put this back in the freezer for a little bit. You could put it in a container and you could put it in the freezer for just maybe 30 minutes. I wouldn't put in too long because it'll freeze really, really solid. But you can see the texture's amazing. The color is beautiful to me. It reminds me of green tea ice cream for sure. But more importantly, let's see how it tastes, because I think it's going to be delicious. It's super creamy, which is amazing since there's no cream in it. So that's, of course, coming from the texture of the banana. It's so good. So it's got this amazing texture of like a soft serve ice cream. I do taste the banana for sure, but the green tea is completely coming through. I'm going to take another bite. And you can't taste the spinach, that's great too, because you might be thinking, why in the world would you put spinach in this? But it did give it a really nice color. You can't even tell the spinach texture that's in there. And this is really, you know, very satisfying for a snack. So think about what we did. We've got a scoop of our PDM, so you know for sure that this has got 7.5 grams of protein already. And then we've got some other nutritional things to talk about, which I will do in a minute. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to tell you all the nutrition information for our wonderful green tea ice cream.